Hey guys, it's Abby with MotorCityNerds. Sorry, I'm tired. This is Editing Abby. I have my Super Bowl food right here. And yeah, so I realized there's a ton of biblical connections here. And at first I just said the Darwin and Eve thing with their names, right? And then I said to my mom, I'm like, how are you going to let me yell about Eve and Darwin and Adam and Eve for a week and you taught catechism? Like, I don't practice. But my mom taught catechism, but she read the Bible to us like how it is. And it's like, there's war, and there's this, and there's that. The plagues were my favorite in school, and we had mass, and we got to go to the plagues are the shit. Moses is such a good story, oh my God. And that's why we use these archetypes all the time. We use these all the time. There's always a Jesus figure, there's always, or a Moses or something like that, or Greek mythology. But I'm really hungry, and yeah, so I put this on my review. But I just thought, okay, I'll cut off I'll just take it and put it in another video so that if people just want to see every biblical connection. So she made it entertaining for us. I loved the plagues. The plagues are my favorite. And everything goes, all these archetypes go back to Moses, Greek mythology, or Jesus. Like, it just is what it is, or religion, you could call it. But yeah, I've been yelling about it. I don't watch any of these other podcasts. I won't even watch my friends' review. Now, if you don't want to hear this, then tune out. But I was looking at, I'm going through the names and stuff, and I'm like, wait, I was comparing Darwin and Charles Darwin and evolution, and like I've been saying, there's a flip side to everything. There's science, and then there's spiritual. Charles Darwin, evolution, start of life. How did it begin? How did it keep going? How did it evolve? Eve, Adam and Eve, the beginning, yada, yada, yada. Then I'm like, how did I let Peter get by me? And then I was like, how did I let Elizabeth get by me? That is, I'll tell you guys who Elizabeth is in the Bible. That is the mother of John the Baptist. John the Baptist was the messenger. He died getting his message across. He got his head cut off for it. They were like, stop talking and spouting off your shit. And he said, I won't. I'm gonna get my message across. That's what Holden's doing. Elizabeth was an older mother who dreamed of having that she was going to get pregnant, even though she never did before. And then she did. Leah. After I see those, I go, okay, well, who's left? And I go, Jake, her dead husband, Jacob. That's a huge name in the Bible. Using broad strokes here. When I'm using this, I'm not trying to convert you. I'm not trying to push religion on you. What I'm saying is, these broad strokes of these messages are probably there. And I'm going to prove it with Pete. 7 in the Bible, 7 trumpets going into heaven. 7 is huge. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's why Nicole thinks it'll be Hank, Darwin, and Pete that die possibly. And I'm like, oh, I hope not. But I knew going into this episode, anybody with a biblical name was safe. So Jacob, eventually down the line, he has his name changed to, I don't know if you've heard of this, Israel. And everybody descends from him. He took 2 wives, Rachel and Leah. One represents like the one that I wanted, this yada yada yada. Leah was the one he didn't want. Oh, and he worked for her dad for 7 years trying to marry her sister, and he was like, yeah, no, I'll let you marry my daughter after you work for me for 7 years. And he does, and then he's like, no, you can marry Leah. And themes with Leah, like I said, I'm not talking about some incestuous weird thing between the characters in the show. Broad strokes here. Jacob symbolizes a lot with family. The younger brother surpassing the older brother, and Jacob is the epitome of like redemption. And I was acting like a snake in the grass for a very long time, but I'm still redeemed now because I changed my ways. I don't know if his really apply here, but cycles, things like that. But Leah, that wife, she represented like she didn't feel good enough. She felt inadequate. She felt like she could never be everything she wanted to be, and didn't know how to convey it, like because she was the one that wasn't wanted. So Leah felt like there's certain things that are represented here. And I will never forget the name of this person because in 2nd grade, I went to Catholic school. In 2nd grade, we had a whole test, everybody, from 1st to 6th graders, and we had to take like 100 questions, and it was just for fun. It was like you won a big prize, and it was just on Bible questions. And I couldn't remember Mary's dad's name. I came in 2nd. I was pissed. I was so pissed. But I could remember her mom's. It's Anne. And then I was saying on my Instagram story, if there's anybody that you really want there with you when you're having a baby or be there or help you deliver it, it would be your mom, right? Being the mother of Christ is kind of a big deal. This I didn't know though. Annie K, midwife, Saint Anne. Well, then I find out Saint Anne is the patron saint of women giving birth, not mothers. Women giving birth. Okay. And I go, who do we got left? So I'm going through these names and I go, Peter. And I'm looking at all of them in a row and I go, what do they all have in common? Use your Game of Thrones brain, Abby. What do they all have in common? I go, Old Testament? No. New Testament? Definitely not. And then I go, wait. These ones over here, you guys almost got me. These ones over here are all technically a direct bloodline of Christ. Mary, her cousin, is Elizabeth. Okay, that would be Jesus' aunt. And then her son, John the Baptist, would be Jesus' cousin. If everybody descends from Jacob and Abraham, that would technically be his relative. If everybody comes from Eve, that would technically be his relative. Leah would be a relative. These would all be relatives. And then there was one that sat out, and that was Pete. And technically, are they related? Yeah, but I'm like, there isn't a thing there. But what Peter was his first disciple. Peter built the church on the rock of our faith. Peter built the first church. Peter was the one Jesus was like, I know you'll step to people physically. I know you'll step to people mentally. I know you have what it takes to carry on what I want in my message after I'm gone. And I'm trusting you with that. Peter. Is this sounding familiar? Are these broad stroke themes sounding familiar to anything? Okay, I'll keep going. But at first, I thought, oh shit, St. Peter's Cross. St. Peter's Cross is the upside down cross. A lot of people think that's satanic. It's not satanic, but a lot of people think it is. So I was like, I think people are going to think he's a negative, but he's not. And then I was like, but what if it's a wolf in sheep's clothing type thing? Things that relate to Peter, on the positive side, loyalty. I think somebody's pretty loyal here. And I was like, okay, what else does Peter do? But what are the negatives Peter does? Because those could factor in here. Like I said, the cunning snake side of Jacob, and who was acting like a little rat dick, and then gets redeemed. So it's like, which side of these themes are we playing with? And okay, so what are the negatives around Peter? And I go, well, he denies him. That's what Jesus tells him. So before he goes to meditate in the garden, we'll come back to that, he goes to his boy Peter, and he says, you know you're going to deny me 3 times before the cock crows and all this shit. And he's like, I would never deny you. I would never deny you. I would never deny your teachings. I would never do that. Even if something happens, I wouldn't do that. And he goes, you are. It's going to happen. And I don't want you to feel bad about it, yada, yada, yada. Well, then Jesus goes into the garden. He's allowing himself to get arrested, right? This is where things get nuts. Jesus in the garden. Judas comes up. He told the Romans a minute ago that he would go and kiss the cheek of the one they need to arrest. So let's tie it back to the Godfather with Fredo and Michael. The Judas kiss. I'm betraying you. Is that why Rust Cole has a crucifix on his wall? Does Woody Harrelson look at him and go, Christian, right? And he goes, nope. And he goes, then why do you got a cross on your wall? He goes, You're
Christian, yeah?
No.
What do you got the cross for in your apartment?
It's a form of meditation.
How's that?
I contemplate the moment in the garden. The idea of allowing your own crucifixion.
But you're not a Christian, so what do you believe?
I believe that people shouldn't talk about this type of shit at work.
Hold on.
who's Jesus just chatting with? Peter. Peter, you're going to screw up, but you're going to have it down. You're going to be good. You got this. You're good. This is the story and the time that Rust Cole uses to meditate? Okay, Peter. I don't think you're so bad. I don't think we're going with the negative stuff. I don't think we're going to go with, like, you're going to deny what you are. You're going to deny, because I was like, oh shit, he's going to deny being a true detective. He's going to deny all this stuff. He was raised by a monster. He's a monster. No, he's a generational trauma-breaking king. I love him. It does. It ties right back. It ties right back to season 1, and I was like, oh my god. Shut the fuck up. I was like, stop it. Then it got even better. So over on the live after show, we're talking to the chat, and I'm like, what could silver? I think they're trying to throw us off with putting silver in the mining company's name because color is such a big, prevalent thing here. It always has been in this series. I think they're trying to throw us off. And then I say to Nicole, silver could be akin to gold, which could be yellow or king. So I'm like, maybe. An angel comes into the chat with, no. The 30 pieces of silver that the Romans paid Judas to betray Jesus. It's betrayal. It's betraying the land. It's betraying the natural order. And I was like, holy shit, there we go, boom. We didn't think the Catholic rabbit hole would do anything. And it did. And I was like, no, Pete is going to be the one to hold on to it. Pete is Peter. Peter built the church. He's going to run things when Danvers is gone. Now, here's where I'm worried. You have to remember this too. Peter is one of 2 disciples who was there when Jesus died. Everybody else was like in the crowd or whatever. But there was only 3 women. James's mother, his mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, the best, his best friend, first disciple Peter, and James. So Peter and James, they get into a bit of shit after Jesus dies down the road, okay? So Jesus is gone, raises back from the dead, goes to heaven. Down the road sometime, Peter and James get arrested by Herod, and James allows Peter to escape. He gets Peter out. So Peter gets out and goes, Pete, I'm thinking that Navarro might be taking the James role here a little bit. And this is why I'm worried that she might die and Danvers might die. There's always a Jesus figure in something with heroes. They die, they come back, they still want to unite people with love and peace and instead of war, but they will fight if they have to. But it's all about uniting people under love and dying and coming back and all that shit. Or Moses. It's always Jesus or Moses or Greek mythology. James gets Peter out, and then King Herod kills James, beheads him in front of everybody. I'm not saying it's like a good death, but it's the first martyr. James is the first martyr. He died for this cause, and all you did was light a fire under people's asses to really want to fight for it even more now. Navarro kind of seems that way, and I'm like, shit. But I think what will happen is, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen, I personally think it's just going to be Danvers, but who was there with Jesus on either side of him while he passed away? James and Pete. And I think Danvers is going to pass away, and Pete and Navarro are going to be right by her side, and she's going to cross over to her husband and her son. Remember what Russ Cole says. I could feel them. I could feel my dad. I could feel my daughter. I could feel them. I could feel all their love. I could feel it. I would go with them. And that's what Jodie Foster is going to do, and that is the natural order of things. Staying alive forever is unnatural. Desecrating the land, hurting kids, that's unnatural. Unlike other characters like Jon Snow or Harry Potter, she's not going to die and come back to life. What she's going to do is have her next life. She's going to ascend, and she's going to be with her family, and it's going to be whole again. Or it'll be her and Navarro, but Navarro would die after Danvers passes, because Danvers would blame herself. The way Navarro's going to die is if she, on her own terms, or to get Pete out. I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't watch any of this podcast shit. Somebody was like, oh yeah, no, they talked about the numbers. I was like, did they? Did they talk about the numbers? Okay, well, I'm happy with MotorCityNerds. I know if I'm on TikTok, I'm all the things down below. I'm sorry this took so long. I think me and Nicole are going to argue about the Dyatlov people later, because I'm just like, I don't know about all that. But yeah, anyway.